And it's Bahamians aren't prepared to stand up and fight and defend their own Bahamas, then you don't deserve to have it.
Now let that sink in. Come on. Change ain't coming, change is here. You can hear it, you can feel it in the air. All politicians, put your hands in the air. Just a stick up, let me make myself clear. I'm a grown man talking, so you know what to do. No one's leaving till we figure out the truth. Why you laughing? This ain't nothing funny. So no one gets to go home till we figure out this money. Change ain't coming, change is here. They say change ain't coming, but change is here. They say change ain't coming, but change is here. They say change ain't coming, nigga, change is here. Now if you ain't standing with us, then I know you against us. Bahamas, this ain't no time for us to be lukewarm. This is war, and we riding through the storm. Come on. Let's go. Shalom to all my Hebrew brothers, to all my Muslim and Rastas, we need you, brother. Selassie, I know I can't forget the Christians. Let's put our differences aside, cause it's a bigger mission. See, they've been doing this for years, trying to separate us, kinda trying to keep us down and never elevate us. Now it's time to praise the Lord, cause he's about to take us over to the promised land where we can celebrate us. I got to do it for my kids that ain't even born yet, so the minute that they born, they already gotta check that check. Gotta have that time to collect, so they won't know how it feels to have that yoke around their neck, yeah. See, y'all been robbing my grandmother, my great-great-grandmother and grandfather. It's like y'all can't get enough. Y'all just keep eating and eating and giving us nothing but taxes. Y'all went even as far as to say that this country's in debt and we ain't got no money. But 9 times out of 10, everybody in this country's possibly a millionaire. It's time to wake up. Let's talk about natural resources, cause every time we bring it up, they say hold your horses. They say it ain't worth a thing, but it's worth a fortune. Meanwhile, they open up their businesses across the borders. Oh yes, we track their bank accounts across the waters. They say this country in debt, but they making millions. If we don't stop this now, they be up to billions. It's about to go down and I get the feeling we gotta cut a movie on these dirty villains. So this Lincoln Bain and his team came with information. It's like everything changed, everything went quiet. It's like so much facts and they can't deny it. They'd rather keep their mouths shut before they start a riot. Now look how they tryna just steal the oil. They don't wanna share with none of y'all. They've been robbing us while we were sleeping. Send them to jail cause they failed, they committed treason. Change ain't coming. They say change ain't coming, but change is here. They say change ain't coming, but change is here. They say change ain't coming, nigga, change is here. Listen, from Freeport to Nassau all the way to Nagua, there's no more time for us to sit back and be quiet. You understand? This is war. If they only knew who we were, if they only know who we are, they would know we are warriors. No retreat, no surrender. Just give us what you owe us. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. I feel this all the way to my ancestors. We are warriors. We only really want what's owed to us. You get it? Now free up.
Again. I know them a blow breath in a man. Warm today, Jano style. Go this side. Father God, I make them fight me so hard. A lucky thing say me no coward. A lucky thing me put me trust in the Lord. Them want me for dead in the mag like dog. No make the hope you walk at them get no reward. No make them get no reward. No make the hope you walk at them get no reward. No. Just see them sit down and a fight against me thing. Me laugh. I see him where Judas and him friend them did fight against the king. Read the Psalms and realize I know nobody them. Them a try set me up with this body them. Successful life that a bother them. Power up and kill his snake pan the ladder them. Father God, I made them fighting so hard. A lucky thing say me no coward. A lucky thing me put me trust in the Lord. Them want me for dead in the mag like dog. No make the hope you walk at them get no reward. no make them get no reward. No make the hope you work at them get no reward. Yeah. Everybody know I see a gully man from Mafi make it out. So gully man turn, them a put me in a dark, make me holy lantern. From the gully boardhouse to me holy mansion. Can't take the visa, them can't do no sanction. Now everywhere me go I stand innovation. Jaja pick me never lose in no occasion. Them know me, the new innovation. Hey, Father God I make them fight me so hard. Lucky things say me no coward. A lucky thing me put me trust in the Lord. Father God, no make the hope you work at them get no reward. No, no, no make the hope you work at them get no reward. No, no, Father God, no make none of them get no reward. Father God, no make them get the reward. Father, calling God again. It's me again. It's me again. Father. Yeah, yeah. Father God, I make them fight me so hard. A lucky thing say me no coward. A lucky thing me put me trust in the Lord. Them want me for dead in the mag like dog. No make the hope you work at them get no reward. No make them get no reward. No make the hope you work at them get no reward. No.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Seeing that we're having some slight internet issues. We know there's been a lot of electricity issues today, a lot of them. You make sure that we are broadcasting live before I continue. Nope, I think we've signed off. We are broadcasting live. Okay, looks like we're still broadcasting live. Just cross-checking with different devices. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to say a special happy Father's Day to everyone who is tuned into all of our fathers. You are the bedrock of our society. We do appreciate you, and we thank all of you. You know what to do when you get on here. Please share. So congratulations to all of you fathers who have got your crab and rice today. Well, it's raining, so maybe you got some crab soup. All right. So crab and rice, crab soup, whatever it is, we hope you got your crab. All right. So congratulations for that. We got some serious stuff to talk about today. We've been inundated with so much different documents, especially since we've been attacked by the government. We don't even know where to start. We've been inundated, but we're going to start somewhere, and we have a lot to talk about. We got to talk about exactly why Wayne Monroe is attacking me and attacking the Bahamian people. We're gonna talk about that. Why was Wayne Monroe over the last few days on social media lying? I have a serious problem with government officials on social media having arguments with regular Bahamians, with civilians. over these kinds of issues. I have a serious problem with that. I don't even go on social media arguing with persons. I don't respond as much as persons attack me and state their opinion, etc. I don't respond to those things. And so I think that government officials should show a sort of decorum. I had a serious problem with that when we had Marlon Johnson as our financial secretary, and he would be on Facebook, look like most of the day. I don't understand what he got paid for. Maybe that's why the F&M had so much free time to steal everything that their hands could touch. And so I don't understand. Wade Monroe was on Facebook, and I'm going to show you what he posted. And he posted deceitful messages. And he's a lawyer, and so lawyers have been trained to just take a side, and just whatever that side needs to say, you just say whatever needs to be said. And you leave out, the whole truth. You just say a part of it. And that's why when you swear, they make you say you're going to tell not just the truth, but the whole truth. And it's shocking. But first of all, before we get there, I want to say thank you to everyone who showed up at our immigration town hall meeting. We had about 400 persons there. We want to thank all of you who showed them that we were serious. The government saw it. They saw it. They saw it. And so the purpose of that meeting was to make sure that the government sees that regular Bahamians are willing to come out. They're willing to come out and express their displeasure with what's going on in this country. This country is under invasion. And while we're under invasion, we have a petty Minister of National Security with a personal beef who is sending the army, the military, I should say, into the bushes at regular unarmed civilians. Regular unarmed civilians. This is unheard of, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. This is unheard of in the history of this nation. This is the first time in the history of the Bahamas that the Prime Minister of this country has unleashed the military on their own people, or anyone for that matter. This is the first time in the history of this nation that a Prime Minister of this country has unleashed the military on their own citizens. It has never happened before, ever. There was almost no response, little response, when we were actually under attack by Cuba. When our military was under attack and we were being sunken, and the Cuban jets were flying over Andres, the military was not unleashed on Cuba. But the military came in to the Crown land to attack. And I say attack because there were assaults. To attack regular unarmed civilians. In any other country, this would be huge news. And there would be a serious pushback. A serious pushback. I'm going to get to the lies that Wayne Monroe is putting on social media. He even went into a Facebook, a WhatsApp group. I mean, he was in there all evening, and he was just talking about me. The Minister of National Security was in a WhatsApp group gossiping about me. Like, seriously, all the crime happening in this country, the immigration problem, two of our biggest issues is under him. Yeah, immigration is still under the Ministry of National Security. It still is, because that is a national security issue. We have a serious problem with immigration and crime, and the Minister of National Security is on WhatsApp gossiping about me, talking about me, and deceiving and misleading the Bahamian people, saying that the land in Abaco was Crown land. Well, we're going to show that that is a lie. You see, when these people talk, they always beat up their gums, and they expect you to just believe them because of their position and because they can speak the Queen's English. They want you to just believe them because of who they are, and many of you fall for that. And that's how we get deceived so easily. But notice what I do when I talk, I always bring documents. So I'm going to bring documents to show that Wayne Monroe, We are the new Bahamians. And we don't fall for these lies. We're tired of it. He put a post on social media saying that was private land. And even if it was private land, who cares? There's an issue. But I'm going to show you some things about Wayne Monroe first. And then we're going to get to showing what's really going on. We got so much pictures of the shanty towns and what's going on. We have done so much research. There have been, ministers that have made deals with these persons. Since they choose to attack us, we're gonna start to expose some stuff. We're gonna drop feed it. And the countdown is on. We got 12 more days until Bahamians will be attacked by their military for farming on Crown land. 12 more good days until Bahamians will be attacked by their very own military and arrested by their very own government, dragged before the courts for farming on Crown land, according to Wayne Monroe. When it has never happened before. It didn't happen in Fox Hill. They're now talking about giving them the title of the land. It didn't happen in Fire Trail Road area. They didn't arrest persons and say that they were unlawfully occupying. It didn't happen in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. It didn't happen anywhere else in this nation. But all of a sudden, these teachers and lawyers and police officers and government and workers from all over the government, the civil service, and professionals from all walks of life, nurses, medical technicians, etc. All of a sudden, these people are criminals because they are possessing land to feed themselves during a pandemic and a food shortage. All of a sudden, that is so wrong that it needs the immediate attention of the government, while the shanty towns do not need any attention. And so I'll start here. We got some stuff to talk about today. Some stuff to talk about. Listen, what persons in the shanty town, in the unregulated community that they call the former well fields, experience was a full military invasion. Someone did an interesting video.
Okay, we are now stopped.
Let me play the other one.
Said it so beautifully last night. There's a social contract that we all have, that if you steal or if I steal, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. And if the social contract is broken, you broke the contract when you killed us in the streets. And you broke the contract when for 400 years we played your game and built your wealth. You broke the contract when we built our wealth again on our own, by our bootstraps in Tulsa, and you dropped bombs on us. When we built it in Rosewood and you came in and you slaughtered us. You broke the contract. So, as far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
What you saw there was armored vehicles, police with machine guns and assault rifles and grenades, tear gas, all manner of weaponry. They've been doing reconnaissance. Police have been coming in the back there before, so they know there was no threat from Bahamians back there. They knew there was no threat back there. They were even there the day before they did all this show. But they decided that they were going to nonetheless attack the Bahamian people with a show of force. Now, there's a backstory to this that you have to understand. It might be good if you would remember who you are dealing with. You are dealing with the politician who told the Bahamian people, and I quote, to kiss his ass. He repeated it several times while he was on the campaign stage. And the last time he got the audience to repeat after him, but he didn't say the last word, but he spanked his backside. We tend to forget so easily.
On May 10th, we gotta tell these people, kiss our and walk fast. On May.
So when you have a politician who would come on stage and behave like that, and there was more that he said, he repeated that several times. That just showed the last time that he said it. He doesn't care. So now the Prime Minister has sent a gentleman into national security who doesn't care. Why do I say he doesn't care? Because this man also, he also, do you remember that Wayne Monroe was the gentleman who said that they should flog illegal immigrants? That they should flog those over 18, men and women, because he said you can't discriminate. They should flog the men and women and cane the children. He said it sounds diabolical, but if they believe that we are torturing and killing them, then they won't come. We forget so easily. This is what he said before he was Minister of National Security, while he was running with the PLP. He said that if they feel that we are torturing and killing them over here, then they won't come. He said we're being too easy on them. We need to flog them and kill them. And he had a back and forth with Fred Smith. And Fred Smith said, yeah, we understand legal immigration is wrong, but what you're saying is that's unreasonable. And you need to retract that. He went on to say that listen, all poor people in Grandmama go live in Fred Smith's house and just go take over his house. That was his attitude. But notice his attitude has changed now. All of a sudden, he's making every excuse why they shouldn't touch the illegal immigrants. But back to my point, this same gentleman had an attitude that we should flog because we need to be serious and they need to be terrified of us. I'm going to show you this and I'm going to play this and you'll share this. Because when you start to see certain things, you voted for it. This is the same man who said that 4-year sentence was too harsh for a man who raped a little girl, an old 40-something-year-old man who raped a little girl, when the law actually says that he should get life in prison. He could get up to life. He said a 4-year sentence was too harsh. Watch his words. This is a part of his interview with our news. When they wanted to see if he was going to continue with this nonsense he said about flogging illegal immigrants.
3-4 hours maximum. But its impact psychologically is something that is profound. And it is something that's so profound that all you need to do is judge the comments that have arisen over what I have said to understand that people think it's so brutal that it shouldn't be inflicted on persons.
Flogging, which many human rights organizations consider a form of torture, is still practiced in countries like Saudi Arabia. Immigration has been an issue for the country for decades, and last year government began taking extensive measures, amping up raids and deportations. The vast majority of illegal immigrants housed at the Carmichael Road Detention Center are Haitians, followed by Jamaicans and Cubans. But Monroe said his comments aren't specifically about Haitians and Jamaicans, but any foreign nationals illegally in the Bahamas.
Well, illegal immigrants are illegal immigrants. We have illegal immigrants from Eastern Europe in the detention center. So I don't really care where you are from. And nobody will be able to find anything that I have said that is population specific.
When asked about women and those under 18 and whether they should be flogged, Monroe said this.
Caning for people under 18. They'll be having an equality. Suppose it's a referendum. Why would they be treated differently than men? If we're in this big age of equality, if I were to suggest that women be spared, people would jump down on me on the basis of that sexist. So if we're going to say there's equality, the only difference would be there's a physical assessment of the ability, and the physical assessment is regardless of whether you're man, woman, or child.
You're watching the
That's not my words. I didn't make that up. We had electricity just went off. I was still saying the electricity just went off, so we hope we're still up. I think we should still be up. So we're still up. Electricity just went off. I don't know how we're still up. We shouldn't be. Okay, we're going to be down in a sec. We are still up, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm just going to make sure we get our backup situation up. So just give me 1 sec. We're having some bad weather situations. Many people throughout are out of internet right now. And so, but we can still operate without, let me just share the internet. Let me just get our system back up. Oh, yeah, I can go on there. All right, let's get it back up. All right. Is up? All right, we're still up, ladies and gentlemen. We're sitting here in the dark. But of course, we're trying to get the system back up so I could share videos, etc. with you. We're going to do that in a second for you. That was the words of the minister himself. That was the words, not my words, of the minister. And I'm showing you that for a reason. I'm going to make this make sense to you in a minute. All right, I'm going to make this make sense to you in a minute. This is the behavior and the attitude of this gentleman, but I want you to hear more. That was just the article they did with him afterwards. All right, so it's connecting to that. It says no internet. Okay, it's connected. We're good. All right, we're connected to our secondary internet. Yeah, that's connected to that. All right, so we could get back up. Oh, wow. Looks like everything crashed. How do we get there? Good, we're back up and running. Let's get this back up for you. There we go. Oh my God. All our videos we had lined up and everything would have crashed. So we're gonna have to set them up again. Y'all just have patience. Y'all spend your Father's Day with me. All right. Sit with your father and spend your Father's Day with me. All right. It actually looks good in the dark. All right. So we're waiting to get that back up. But in the meantime, we'll keep going. Ladies and gentlemen, that gentleman right there, I'm going to read this article so you could hear more of what he said, and you will see his mindset and why he should not have been made the Minister of National Security. Put the light a little higher because it's in the shadow. Thank you. This is the article. This is the article. Flogging the immigrants. Flogging the immigrants. Prominent attorney Raymond Rowe, who recently joined the Progressive Party, has come under a fire for suggesting that the country should start flogging, this is a Tribune article, people for committing immigration offenses. We wanted to be able to show you this live on the screen, but you know what's happening. And many of you have lost your internet right now. Committing immigration offenses. Mr. Monroe QC said officials in this country should begin caning persons under 18 and flogging those over 18 who are caught entering the country illegally. Mr. Monroe, in a recent post on Facebook, wrote that the price is too low for immigration offenses in the Bahamas, suggesting that if illegal immigrants, particularly Haitians, that's his words, if illegal immigrants, particularly Haitians, believe we tortured and killed them, they might not come. This his words. If they believed that we tortured and killed them, they might not come. This is a man that they made Minister of National Security. They're worried about my words. They're worried about my actions. This man says we should start. This man who's a part of the opposition at the time said that they believe that we tortured, killed them. And I'm sorry, this was the governing party at the time when he said this. He said they might not come. That's how serious he was talking. When contacted for comment, President of Grandmama, Fred, they're talking about QC there, said he was shocked. Fred Smith said he was shocked. All right? This whole thing came because there was a video going around where a immigration officer on a dock somewhere, on a pier, had actually slapped an immigrant and slapped him into the water. Remember that video that was going around when he slapped the fella and the fella fell into the water? And so Wayne Monroe was commenting because of that, saying, slap, we need to flog them. Here's the rest of his words. This issue emerged following the circulation of a video on social media over the weekend, which showed an immigration officer slapping an unidentified man off a dock into the sea. The video drew the ire of numerous social media users, most of whom accused the officer of being abusive. According to Monroe, the controversy surrounding the video on Facebook prompted him to justify the use of corporal punishment for immigration offenses. Because, according to him, there seemed to be some prospect that the officer's actions must be the wrong thing to do. Let me repeat that. He said, according to him, there seems to be some prospect that the officer's action must be the wrong thing to do. So in other words, he's saying the officer ain't do nothing wrong. He just walk up to the fella and slap him into the water. The fella did nothing. He was not resisting. He was not hurting anybody. And look at Wayne Monroe's words. My Bahamas. To continue, one of Mr. Monroe's posts read, if slapping some back to creation, in other words, not just slapping them back to creation. If slapping some Haitians back to creation is necessary to reduce them to custody, the law, specifically the penal code, permits it. This man just says anything and says the penal code says it, and it's absolute lie. Nowhere in the penal code does it say that an immigration officer could walk up to someone or a police officer and just slap them. But that's what he literally said, and people just take his word and listen to him. They sit down and listen to his dry voice, no matter what he is saying. Is slapping some back to creation is necessary to reduce them to custody. The law, specifically the penal code, permits it. Now, if only adding, now if only these folks believed we tortured and killed them, they might not come. There are people in official positions in civilized countries who have been fired and asked to resign because of tweets or social media messages. This was this man's stance, because I want you to see his thinking. And this man was made Minister of National Security. I'll continue. When contacted for comment, he told the Tribune, this Wayne Monroe, that the government is being too lenient on those caught entering the country illegally. he said the country should focus on cultivating another immigration minister like Loftus Roker, who held the post in the Pilling era, who had people voluntarily repatriating themselves to avoid his wrath. So in other words, he wanted someone like Loftus Roker, because he said people who are repatriating themselves is leaving the country to avoid Loftus' wrath. That was a lie. Loftus was locking people up and Finland eventually stopped him because this stuff was going from then. But in his words, make them so scared of you that they'll break off running. Intimidate them. We're going somewhere with this. Terrify them. Cause terror as a government to people. That's his mindset. Minister of Immigration Fred Mitchell isn't, and we're continuing to quote Wayne Monroe's words. Minister of Immigration Fred Mitchell isn't compared at all to Minister Roker, because Fred was the minister at the time. Minister Monroe said, no one is running out of the country because of Mr. Mitchell's policies. People were running out of the country because of Roker's policies. It is not insane to say you should not illegally come to my country. You should not illegally stay in my country. It's lunacy to say that we should be receptive of people who invade our country without our consent. Wow. Wow. He had a serious problem with illegal immigrants invading our country. Now, when I say that, the PLP trolls are all over me. I have no problem with immigration. I have a problem with illegal immigration. Let's continue, because I want you to see the mens rea in law. That's the thinking of a man, the guilty thinking. He added, do we, the Bahamian people, keep paying to send them back, or do we decide when we're deporting you or your exit from the Bahamas? I'll read that again. Do we, the Bahamian people, keep paying to send them back, or do we decide when we're deporting you on your exit from the Bahamas? We cane people under 18, flog people over 18, and it will be very brutal. And a pair very brutal. But you won't want to go back to face it again, would you? He said, yeah, it's going to be brutal. We'll brutalize them. I want you to see the guilty mind. You share this yet? And this continues, he says, and if you know that was going to happen, you might not want to come to face it in the first place. And they talked to Mr. Smith again, Fred Smith, who said he was shocked, etc. I'm not reading what Fred Smith had to say. He said the Bahamas will become a violent country, there'll be uprisings, etc. All right, and violence is going to erupt. So that's what Fred Smith said. So what do you think gonna happen when you have a minister treating Bahamians that way? It's okay for the Haitians to get violent against Bahamians. If the government is flogging them with Bahamians who are being brutalized and abused by the police, is it okay? I just read this part from this. Smith added, we are forcing people to be violent because we're giving them no option. And Mr. Monroe wants to start flogging people with the cat of nine tails. Have you ever seen the cat of nine tails, Bahamas, and what it does? He and his political cronies in the PLP have gone insane. They are leading the Bahamas into violence, and I beg them to stop doing it. I won't read any more from him. All right. I'll continue. When given a chance to respond to this, Monroe retorted, I need to go and live in his house. Then everybody needs to go and stay in Fred Smith's house. All the poor people in Freeport. Because the only reason they come here is because of poverty. So every unemployed homeless person in Freeport should go move into Fred Smith's house and see how he likes it. Remember, I gave the example of someone coming into your house and invading your house. Wow, Wayne Monroe gave that same example. Wow. I don't have a problem if you're invited into my house, but don't just come through my window and take up residence. Ladies and gentlemen, I read that out to you for a very specific reason. I wanted you to see and understand the mentality of a man. I wanted to show you some more videos of him, but we lost connectivity with our internet because the power is off. Ladies and gentlemen, this man was then made, with all those lies he said about the penal code gives the immigration officer permission to slap you. And he says anything. And he just says, well, the law says, but he never quotes it. He never shows you it. But he expects you to just believe him because he is Wayne Monroe. He's a diabolical gentleman. Not a gentleman at all. And so this man was given the task. Now, remember, only one person has the authority to deal with matters relating to Crown land, and that is the Prime Minister. And Wayne Monroe actually said that in the press conference. So anything you see happening to the Bahamian people right now, it is literally Brave Davis doing it, sending Wayne Monroe to do it, to spread lies, deception, to intimidate. You heard all of his words. It was very specific. It was specific that you got to terrorize them, to make them run. You got to brutalize them so they know to go and don't come back. You got to brutalize them. That's him. That's what he said. You got to brutalize them. Because if they think that over here we're torturing and killing them, why did he add the killing? Because he said flogging, because you could die from flogging with a cat and nine tails. So what did we see? We saw Bahamians being brutally assaulted. We saw an assault. We saw them send the army. We saw this. I'm trying to upload a video for you to see. It's going to be more difficult now because we had them pre-uploaded. Wow, got to redo everything. I was trying to show you a video of what went down. But these people then, see, first they send the Minister of Environment at us. That wasn't really working out because then we revealed that there were some of his cronies that wanted that land in that area. And so it looked really bad. And they were spreading lies and they were saying that it was a protected area and it wasn't really a protected area. And they were lying on the Bahamian people. They were defending nonsense. They were defending the Haitian immigrants straight through. And so that worked. So they grabbed the Attorney General and they got him involved and he started threatening us. We're going to get locked up. The same thing. They're going to come and they're going to serve cease and desist orders, et cetera, all this nonsense, cease and desist orders. Yeah. And when it was time to serve the cease and desist orders, they said, oh, we ain't got no evidence or nothing. And they break off running. So that didn't work out because the Attorney General was embarrassed, and it's very critical for the Attorney General to have credibility. And that's because every case would be questioned if he doesn't, because he said that the injunction, which I'm going to read to you, the injunction was only dealing with Abaco, and it was a lie. It was a blatant lie. And so we're praying that this thing comes up in a second. The Brandis comes up in a second because we want to see. I don't just like to talk. I like to show you what I have to say. I like to show the evidence of what I'm saying. And so after it didn't work with the Attorney General, they tried to go to the Minister of Works, Alfred Says. And Alfred Says is a fair man. He's a just man. And Alfred Says, I guess he didn't really want to get involved with that. So he kind of pulled back. And after a while, Vaughn Miller told them he's not willing to go forward. He's tired of this. He's tired of getting involved in this. Y'all deal with this yourself. He ain't getting in that. And then just when you saw him come in the press conference and sympathize with the people saying he's been through the same thing. And he understands what they're doing and what they're going through. And that's when he told them off the record, I'm out. And so they were in a little hissy for a little while. They didn't know what to do, but they had to deal with us because their people were complaining who wanted to be on the crown line in the back there. And so they went now to Wayne Monroe. The man who, really doesn't have much feelings. He doesn't care what you think or what you say. He does what he wants. And like he said to me when I was out there, listen, if you don't like how we deal with it, then vote us out next time. No, Wayne Monroe, we can come for you politically. You think that we're just that the Bahamian people are gonna sit there and watch you drag Grammy off our land? When the Haitian immigrants that you talked about flogging are untouched all over this nation? How many shanty towns did your army drive past to get to us? How many? Huh? How many? And so, let me see if we can get this video up. And so he brought them there. All of you all saw the video where they were assaulting me and that kind of stuff. So I won't go there. And so they had a little campaign. Wayne Monroe had a little personal issue because remember he had sent, oh man, it keeps going down. They're trying to send you these videos. Remember he had sent, well, I can't say that. His campaign generals were first sent, I don't know by who, to put out some videos lying on me. They grabbed the Haitian man. That was Wayne Monroe's campaign generals. I was going to show you the pictures, but we down. Little internet problem right now. That was Wayne Monroe's campaign generals. Was sent to lie, and every time they lied, they got foiled, and they looked stupid, and they was changing their story. They even got the man to cry. It's fake story. They put him behind a gate that had nothing to do with the gate they were talking about and tell him, listen, go down the road and just walk to us. It was so fake and staged. It was fake. Because no one would just start recording when the man is walking down the road. They would say, hey, listen, we're going to record you. You have a problem with that? Yeah, we want to tell the story. And you say, okay, and then they'll record. But you could see where they tell him, listen, go down the road and walk like you walk in the house, like you belong inside this gate. And that was Wayne Monroe's campaign generals. And so you can see the influence. Oh, we waiting. Bring your court case. Because we got more that we ain't even gonna say yet. So his campaign generals were spreading lies and doing all this kind of stuff, plotting. And I guess it didn't work. So it got to the point where the Minister of Environment didn't want to get involved because notice, this new ministry that they're talking about, that comes under the Ministry of Environment. But Vaughn Miller didn't have nothing to do with it. Vaughn Miller, if my intelligence is right, that at that meeting, you told them, you're out. You're not getting mixed up in this anymore. It's making you look bad, and it's the wrong thing to do. Thank you. I applaud you for standing up. You start off wrong, but you corrected it. I'm not asking for an apology, but I see your actions. I see it. And I was told, every meeting you all have, I get the information. If that's what you did, Vaughn Miller, Thank you for standing up. But they always got another house Negro waiting. And so Wayne Monroe went there with national security, having a press statement, all this stuff, for something that's to do with the environment. Your eyes open in Bahamas? And the question is, why do you need to go there with over 100 Defense Force officers with machine guns? Who do you think you are intimidating? We are not afraid. You are not going to intimidate us. This is our land. And if you're going to make up excuses and lie for those here illegally that you talked about, saying we were too soft on them, and they shouldn't be here illegally in our house, if you are going to defend that nonsense, and you're going to come touch us, and then make up a new story about they on private land, would have to do anything. Private land. Even if they are on private land, they're legal immigrants. Nothing stops you from dealing with them. And so that's a lie that he started putting out there. I'm going to have to just show you my screen. Boy, internet isn't working with us. And it's an interesting day that we decided to go live, but we had to do this because we need you to see this. All right, so I'm going to have to, you know what we have to do when it's time to do this. Oh, if I had known Karen was going to go off, I would have literally just gone live without the software. Let me just turn the camera around for you. I wanted to see some stuff. Camera, let's turn this around. One. There we go. There we go. So I just want you to see this. I don't like to just give information. I like to show what I'm saying. So Wayne Monroe told this lie that the land that they're on is private land. That the land that they're on is private land, right? But Shantytowns are on. In Abaco is private land, et cetera, et cetera. This nonsense he was running on with. He's trying to make an excuse why they need to deal with us and not with them. All right. And so this is where he goes wrong, though. He said the land that was to do with the injunction, you know, the mud, the pitch and peas, and Farm Road, and the other one on off the highway. Look at this. So this is an article in the Tribune Business Reporter, and this is from February 18, 2020. All right. And so here they interviewed Ken Hutton, the Abaco Chamber of Commerce president, because they said this article is Critical Marsh Harbor assets eyed for move. So what they want to do is move the main Marsh Harbor back. All right. And they wanted to change Marsh Harbor town. You saw them make an announcement with that recently. But before that, they had to discuss the land and who owned the land and all this kind of stuff. Watch this, Bahamas. It says, Ken Hutton, the Abaco Chamber of Commerce president, told Tribune Business that Mr. Lewis comments, well, this was before this government. This is when Hiram Lewis was talking about making these changes. So the changes you just saw the PLP make, and they were touting it, and they were saying, thank God for Ingram or whatever. This was started before the PLP got there. Government is continuous. But they're touting it as something that they're doing. All right. So Hiram Lewis, they told him that Hiram Lewis said that they were going to change around Abaco. But Hiram Lewis said the problem is that land is private, so they got to meet with the private stakeholders. So Hutton responded. Ken Hutton, Abaco Chamber of Commerce president, told Tribune Business that Mr. Lewis' comments were the first I have heard about relocating Central Marsh Harbor. However, he added, overall, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it is something that they definitely could consider further inland and higher ground. He says, a lot of what they're talking about is not private land. So he's disputing what I said. A lot of what they're talking about is not private land. From what I understand, a good chunk of where the mud used to be is Crown land. There is a portion that is private land, and that is the key tract. All right? But that is much further away, a part of the key family land that they had problems getting title for from the beginning. All right? So the mud, well, we had all these problems, and the pigeon pea, I'll show you something else. A lot of that, the majority of that is actually Crown land. So Wayne Monroe knows this, but he is choosing to sell a narrative. And there's a reason he's trying to sell that narrative to say that, oh, well, they didn't want to deal with them criminally for trespass on the Crown land because it's private land and the owner have to make a complaint. So he want to try to say that we are on Crown land, so the government is going to make a complaint and will be dealt with for trespassing. But no, the mud, parts of the mud and pigeon pea actually is Crown land. So don't mind him lying to the Bahamian people. They're lying. And that's what they do. All right? That's what these people are famous for. And I'm going to show you a document. Let me pull up this document for you. It's a whole document. Let me find it. One sec. Because we do research. We don't mess around. This is research on that same land that Wayman was talking about, out of his head. Because everything he quote, once he quote the law, it ain't true. You ain't got to worry about that. 9 times out of 10, it ain't true. But the penal code allows the police to just slap someone. Internet's going up and down. So sorry. In the model of the acquiring Tiles Act, the entire fee simple estate interest in all that tract of land containing 236 acres, situated approximately half mile south of Marsh Harbor Settlement in the island of Abaco and bound on the north partly by Crown land. All right. Originally granted to John Cash and now claimed by Roy G. Noble on the east by the sea, on the south partly by land claimed by the descendants of John Sweeting, and partly by vacant Crown land, and on the west by vacant Crown land, in the matter of a petition of Shepherd Key, order before Justice Winder, it's 2016, upon applicants, mail list, etc., January 2017, on behalf of adverse claimants and indented adverse claims. Upon the reading of the affidavit, Peter, etc., I'm not going to read all that. But this is the key tract that they are making the claim for here. Let me see if I can pull this up. Can't get to the top. Let me go down. This is the key tract. Trying to get the whole thing. This right here is the key tract that they're talking about. All right. They're trying to quiet that now. And as you can see the description, the key tract is where, and you can see it says it is surrounded on all except one side, which is to the south, by Crown land, GNP, etc. All right, possessor, because people are just on the land. In 2016 was to prevent individual plans, etc. So persons are on that land, taking it, and they're working out trying to give it to them. They're not calling them criminals. All right, they are on the land, adversely possessing the land. And what they're doing is giving them an extension of time to get all their paperwork together. And they're telling them, say this leave is granted to petitioners to serve order upon all counsel for adverse claimants and all interested parties adverse to the same once in the Tribune. So they tell them to advertise in the paper for 14 days. All right. This is by order of the court. Advertise on the paper for 14 days, and then do what you got to do. The court will grant him whatever. So they're taking this land, they're adversely possessing this land. All right. But the reason I showed you this documentation is to show you that this is reference to that same tract. And all around it is Crown land. And so that shows you this entire area and how that works. All right. So these politicians continue to lie to you. Whatever they want to put forward at a particular time, they lie to you. All right. That's what they do. They just make up a story and expect people to just believe them. This area is not. It is absolutely not. It is not only private land. But he is telling that story because he wants to say, now this is the angle. This is what I was told out of them meeting. That Lincoln them on public land, and so we could go after them for trespassing on public land. I don't know. After Bahamians and in New Providence. Let me see. There we go. We keep going up and down on our broadcast. I'm so sorry. We're trying to work with this. There's no electricity, and I'm so sorry about that. But we keep trying to get this keep this stable for you. Don't worry. I'm going to touch on some of these things again. We had everything lined up and ready to go for you. Let me see. We had some Haitians who were in that area. And what you're about to see is going to prove that area is Crown land. And I'm doing this because Wayne Monroe is lying to the Bahamian people, and they're preparing to come in there and attack and just put pressure on us and try to tell the Bahamian people, oh, well, they're on private land and they're breaking the law and this kind of stuff, or they're on Crown land. And so I wanted to pull this up for you so you could actually see. We have video evidence. We talked to the Haitians there, and the Haitians told us that, hey, listen, man, we are on this land, and the Haitians squatted on that land. There's one particular video. I'll just show you that particular video so that we can, okay, John walks in. Okay. I'll show you that. Let me get that video loaded for you in a minute. But I wanted to show you this. Let me show you this before we go on. This video right here is Rodney Munker, who is actually an acolyte of Wayne Monroe, or vice versa. And he's actually a consultant for the Ministry of National Security. He actually works for us. National Security. Oh, wow. I can't show you the videos. Let me see if I can get that sound off. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try to get this up for you. But we have no power to do it the way we wanted to do it. Oh, if that's up, I mean, we can do it that way. Hold on. Okay, let's see if we can get this video loaded. Give me one second. Y'all bear with me today. Y'all spend your Father's Day with me. Let me see if this will
Minister Wayne Monroe
load.
and a huge contingent of law enforcement officers stormed the pine forest and the well field, though the well field is inactive, and they went to take the land back. I thank God if they were looking for Haitians, they did not find any on the land. They found a number of Bahamians. So this is powerful, this is interesting, and I shall be warning the Haitians of the next invasion, or should I say incursion, or should I say Monroe and the police going into the forest. Tout le monde haïtien, gardez. Ministère responsable pour national security. Yo vini pour kembe haïtien. I just want the Haitian people, I'll tell you what I told them when I returned, but there's sad news in the Royal Bahamas.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you realized, I don't know if you realized what you just saw. I'm not 100% sure if my video was up. I'm not sure if I'm live or not. Okay, look, I'm back up now. So thank you. I don't know if you know what you just saw. You just got to bear with us. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you just noticed what you just saw, but that is the consultant that we're paying, the paid consultant of the Ministry of National Security, actually showing bias towards the Bahamian people. All right? I'm going to play it again for you because I don't think that you actually saw that whole thing. I'm going to play this again for you. He is a consultant for the government that the Prime Minister spoke to. Remember, the Prime Minister was interviewed and he spoke to him saying he's the salt of the earth. All right? And he has access to the Prime Minister. We have video showing that too, and video showing him talking about his conversations with Wayne Monroe. And this person is actually saying this about the Haitians. I think we have put this by the window. Trying to get it up. It went down. I'm so sorry. It went down again. All right. But I hope you got a chance to see that. If not, I'm going to just play it for you. And if this goes down, I'm just going to go just grab, just come off the software and just go on my regular page without the software. Just there's so much we had to show you today. So much we had to show you today. But okay, so I'm just going to switch the camera again because everything is going up and down. All right, so it's back up. All right, so let me just pull these documents up for you. I'm just going to play it again. Let's see if we can.
This morning, national security
Minister Wayne Monroe, and a huge contingent of law enforcement officers stormed the pine forest and the well field, though the well field is inactive, and they went to take the land back. I thank God if they were looking for Haitians, they did not find any on the land. They found a number of Bahamians. So this is powerful, this is interesting, and I shall be warning the Haitians of the next invasion, or should I say incursion, or should I say Monroe and the police going into the forest. Tout le monde haïtien, gardez, ministère responsible pour national security, yo vini pour kembe haïtien yo, but basement nou pas aller na rajea caché. This is powerful. I just want the Haitian people, I'll tell you what I told them when I return, but there's sad news in the Royal Bahamas.
And so this is a consultant to the government. This is a consultant to the government actually telling us that he is going to illegally warn the illegal immigrants whenever his ministry is going to attack them. That's a paid consultant to the government that says he has access to Wayne Monroe. And I can play videos now where he talks about the access he has in the meetings, etc. All right, but I'll skip through that for time. And even his access to the prime minister. This is clear and blatant discrimination, xenophobia against Bahamians by the Ministry of National Security that is putting a hard hand down on Bahamians, bringing the entire military on them, and then sending a message out there through their consultant that they are going to tell the Haitians when they're making moves. Do you know the implication of his words right there? I call for the immediate resignation of Rodney Monk. No, I call for him to be fired. He's called for many people to be fired or resign. I call for him to be fired because of his words. And for Wayne Monroe to be fired as Minister of National Security. Y'all, please put him somewhere else. He ain't making no sense right now. He's operating with lies, deceiving the Bahamian people. This can't work, Bahamas. This can't work. This ain't gonna work. We're not gonna tolerate this. We're not gonna have this. Well, I know that I won't. I definitely won't. Just gotta get my page back up. I'm so sorry. Something just happened. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't see what's going on by now, and many of you, might say that, listen, that's your party and you don't care whatever evil they want to do, they can just do it. That might be your stance. But for the rest of us Bahamians, something is wrong, and we don't agree with what happened. I got so many calls and texts, etc., from Bahamians who are fed up. Bahamians started giving me information. Actually, we had persons of Haitian descent calling us to say that they don't agree with what's going on, how the Bahamians are being treated. Yes. We have voice notes, we have calls, we have texts from persons of Haitian descent who are disgusted with what's happening. Now, Wayne Monroe says that, see, and I'm doing this because his strategy is to come after us a certain way. And so he told this lie. And so when the Minister of National Security says something, it's supposed to carry weight. And when he goes on social media telling deceitful stuff and not telling the full truth, there's a problem. And so I want you to see this. Let me see. Well, the Haitians had admitted, I could just play a piece of the video. Let me just play a piece of this.
All right. Good to see you. Frederick Nixon. All right, Frederick.
Let me pause it.
Yes, sir.
Turn this camera around. I'm sorry, we're going so slow today. But you got to be unstoppable. You can't let challenges stop you. Yeah, no power, no problem. Let's keep going. So this right here is the Haitian we met in that area. And so John, okay. All right. Oh, this house right there. Okay.
So he the one that was selling this land to the nation. He said he get it from the government. That's a crown land. It's okay.
So he said he got the land from the government, his crown land. You heard him say that. All right. So there, he's saying that John got it from the Bahamian, got it from the government, his crown land. But they on it. Watch.
And then the thing is, he started taking $1,000 from each Haitian. So that's the reason why you see all these places start building. So he asked for how much Haitian Bahamian on the Bahamas.
Okay.
But the thing is, if he said, he gets it from the government as his land, and then he paying due, so give him the money. So anything they have to pay for him. They got the receipts.
So y'all paying to be here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So y'all ain't just squatting.
No. It wouldn't make no sense for us to just come here and just have unless somebody have to bring us here.
Yeah. You have a receipt to show where you paying?
But I left the receipt at the house.
It's at the house? Okay.
Get a copy.
So it's John what?
I don't get a copy of the receipt, but
That ain't Landy.
no, not Landy. Landy and John is two of them. Landy's.
So they family?
Yeah, they family.
Okay. Landy and John?
Well, that's what John ain't no family. Okay. John is my still family. I know the both of them. I know both of them. I've been here 20 years.
This is a Bahamian.
Y'all guys just as responsible as they are. So don't blame Lundy and John. How could you think the government will give one man all of this property? You think one man own all this property y'all living on? Common sense, they tell you that's not right. That's not right. That's two of them. That's just one of them now. That's two of them. That's just one there. First of all, he didn't show you no proof of ownership. That's your responsibility. Don't blame all on the man. You got to use your math. Right. He didn't show you ownership. He did not show you that he owned this property. You know why? He do not own Crown Line. So how you should have did your investigation. How did own Crown Line? I bought it for the government. I've been here 20 years. Well, and it took them 15 for me to get it. Well, it's the same thing they said. My cousin was over there 40 years. He doing that one yet. There you go.
So y'all paying John and Lundy. Some people paying dealing with Lundy, some people paying John.
John. That's the way it is.
And they Bahamians.
You're right. Both of them is Bahamian.
And wow. And that's how you're there.
That's how we get here.
Wow. But I gotta run.
Some of these people, John and Lundy, don't know nothing about. Some of them come after John and Lundy took off. Some of these people came because their people was here. Listen, I was here.
All right, good talking to you, bro. Yeah.
First y'all started.
Yeah.
Mister, I know when you came here. I'm right over there watching when you came here. Yeah. I'm talking about on this property. On this property. On this property. On this property. Yes. Lying. If you said you see me, I know when you came here. I didn't give you no date. I know when you came here. Give me the date and the date and the time. You lying. Show me your receipt first. Show me your receipt. Where's your receipt? Where you go get it? We wait for you. Go get your receipt. Get your receipt. Yeah, because he just got lying. He got no receipt. Just came here. He got no receipt and just lying. I'm gonna put all the people that you all give receipt. Get your receipt. I'm gonna put all of them. Get your receipt. I'm gonna bring my receipt. Go get it. Yeah. Yes, I will.
You have your receipt in the house now?
Yeah. Go get it.
All right, I'll wait for you.
Yeah.
Go get it. Come back. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that was a spirited conversation by both of them. And he did come back with his receipt because of time I won't show you all of that. He did come back with a receipt. It wasn't actually a receipt. It was actually a what do you call it? A lease. It was actually a lease that he had. And the lease was from a gentleman whose name he was calling Mr. John Walks. The lease was from Mr. John Walks. Let me see if I can pull up a part of that. All right, so it's from John Walks. Let me just turn the camera again. Just gotta bear with me. Turning this camera is slow because it's working with the software. So here you will see I have a couple. I'll just show you this part, but we have several of it. So this is from John Walks, and so he had a lease agreement from John Walks, right? Sea Boodle Highway for 1 year, and it had an agreement, all right. And so he did come with a lease agreement, but the trick was maybe about a few of them, 5 or 6 of them, did get a lease agreement from John Walks on this crown land. Okay, it was crown land. So what Raymond was talking about is garbage. As you hear, even the Haitian know it's crown land. All right, this is crown land. And so, but what they did was after, but 5 of them or so got a lease from John Walks, then the rest of them just invaded the land. And a bunch of them, they built, at that time, they had about 20 houses there. Now there are much more. I'm going to show you in a minute on our crown land. And so Walks, what did he do? He went there and just possessed the land. He says, Bayman, he did what he was advised to do. Exactly what we did. He just possessed the land, but they're not going there locking them up in Abaco, who's just possessing the land and calling them criminals. They are harassing us. And so he went and just possessed the land. And so we had a conversation with him. I went and tracked him down. That was in Abaco. I went to Grand Bahama and we tracked him down. We do our investigation. We're not like we and them who just say stuff. We were able to track down in Grand Bahama. We were able to track down in Grand Bahama the gentleman behind all of that controversy that was just sparked in Abaco the other day. All the controversy with the Haitian village, so they call it, and the man behind it, the man who applied for that crown land, he is here. We were able to talk to him and get his side of the story, and so we were able to track him down. So like I said, please share this so that all the humans can see exactly what's happening. And so the gentleman is John Walks. He's here with me. This is Mr. John Walks. You could wave them and let them see you. So real wave. So John Walks, ladies and gentlemen, John Walks is the man who owns that land technically because he applied for, and I'm gonna put the government's response to him. I'm gonna put that on my Facebook page. He was the man who applied for that land. He is Bahamian. You Bahamian?
Yeah, Bahamian.
Where the Walks from?
I'm Bahamian. My mother from Roll Town, Exuma.
From Roll Town?
Yeah, when she lived at Exuma, she meet my daddy. My daddy was from Parville, but he born in Nassau too.
Yeah.
My daddy.
And so, yeah. My mommy from Rollville, Exuma. All right, so you Bahamian?
Bahamian.
Yeah, you sound like Bahamian.
Right? Roll on my mother's side.
You speak Creole?
Yeah, I'm from Roll now. I don't speak no Creole.
You sure?
I don't speak Creole.
Plenty Creole people on your property.
I don't speak Creole.
You don't know Pale Creole?
I
don't know
nothing about Creole.
Okay, so you are raw bred
Bahamian. Born in Princess Margaret Hospital. Born and grew up on East Street.
Okay, so this man is saying that he is a purebred Bahamian. And so you applied for that crown land.
Over 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
I didn't get the paper. See that, but they never give me, the go ahead. Over 7 years.
So you applied for but I saw them reply to you.
Yeah.
And I saw their reply because you gotta WhatsApp that to me. Send it to me.
Yeah, my daughter have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it. I read it myself.
Okay.
You sent it to me so that people can see that. You applied for crown land. All right. And they responded to you in that. And they said to you that they are doing an audit of crown land right now. And because they're doing an audit, they don't want to turn the crown land officially over to you because they are actually checking to see how much crown land we got. All right. And that's ridiculous to me. So that's what you remember them saying to you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't tell you come off the crown line or move or anything.
No, they didn't.
You applied for it the proper way.
And
you paid.
They said they was surveying out some land, and either at Jomo one island when they come back, and they come in to survey the land out.
Oh, so they wasn't even looking at land in Abaco. They was looking at land. They was actually doing audit of land in Exuma.
Yeah, in Exuma.
Ah, yeah. So they wasn't on to Abaco yet.
No, they didn't reach Abaco yet, but they said it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Let's come in the light.
Yeah, they said it was coming, but they never reached.
Yeah.
They never reached because, you know, out when the storm come. Mm-hmm. So when the storm, all that throw it back.
Now, I saw a big argument between your neighbor out there. He's a Bahamian, raw-born Bahamian. He's a Mills, right?
Yeah.
Not Kai Mills, another Mills, one of their distant cousins, right?
All right.
And so he lived next door. You know, he have I think that's a mechanic shop, all right? And he have the mechanic shop, but next door is where your property is, and they just started building up stuff, right? Now, some of those people, you gave permission to be there. Did you give all of them permission to be there?
No, that the other property where it's mine, that on the side where the mechanic them is, that's Lundy on. I am my partner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mechanic in my yard. Mm-hmm. You know, mechanic, so that's Lundy.
No, the mechanic owns where, I mean, he has the rights to where he is. I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying that he was the neighbor, and he was having an argument with one of the people who lived there, who said he lived there. He's of Haitian descent, and he is saying that they have a right to be there because they have a lease. And that lease has your name on it, right? That is Auntie have. And so we saw the lease with your name on it. You remember giving them a lease?
For mechanic to wait there?
No, nothing to do with the mechanic. I was saying that the mechanic was having an argument with this Haitian man. And this Haitian man was saying that his aunt had a lease to be there. He provided us a lease, and the lease, we took a picture of just the names. The lease has your name on it.
Yeah, well, I give it up permission.
Okay, you gave her that permission.
I give it up permission.
How many people you gave permission?
About 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm. About 5 or 6, but man must see but 20 there. So the rest of them is nothing to do with you.
No, plenty of them that's come there. Ain't there about me.
So the majority of those people are squatting. You didn't give them permission to be there.
No, I didn't give them no permission to be there. But it said with you with my name on it, I gave them.
One was able to give with your name on it.
Yeah.
Others said they had receipts.
No, them said receipt.
You charge them money to be there?
I charge them.
The ones with receipt?
No, the one with my name on it.
That was a lease?
Yeah, that was a lease for a year.
Okay.
But I didn't give them no permission to build. You know?
What you get permission for?
The lease the land.
Okay.
Yeah, not the build.
Oh, but you ain't getting no permit because you're in Ministry of Works.
I'm Ministry of Works.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, the guy is saying that he gave a few of them permission to be there, but 5 or 6. We saw about at least 20 of them there, and so the rest of them are squatting. Now, what I noticed is that people there have their work permit. All right, they have their work permit, or they have residency. All right, or one was the Bahamian with Haitian wife. We didn't check our papers. All right, but what you're saying is, one, you want your crown land that you applied for as a Bahamian.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want. You want your crown land. So tell the government that you applied for your crown land as a Bahamian and you want it.
Over 7 years ago, I applied for it. And I want my land.
And the only response you got was they doing some audits somewhere.
Yeah.
And they ain't get to you yet.
Yeah, they ain't get to me.
How do you feel when you see that foreigners could come in this country? Foreigners, these people want to build a hotel like in West End, close to where we are now. They put Gin there, gave them thousands of acres of crown land. They do it all over the Bahamas. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to show you that, to show you documentary evidence. All right, not only documentary evidence. I'm trying to get this back up here. Not only documentary evidence, but actual video investigative evidence that actually shows that there are Haitians squatting on our crown land. There are Haitians squatting on our crown land. All of the officials saw this, immigration saw this. It was a big thing. Guess what? Nothing came out of it. All right? This man did what everyone else did, and that is possess the land and then apply. And then eventually they give it to you. The first man you saw was from the mechanic. He possessed the land for 15 years. He possessed the land, worked the land, and then
finally he got it. So this new narrative that Wayne Monroe and these people, this false narrative that they're spreading, oh, they didn't do it right. That's not how you do it. There are so many people who will tell you that that is how they did it. The government didn't call them criminals. The government didn't fight against them. What's going on? Open your eyes, Bahamas. We got tons of documents to show you about the illegal stuff that's going on. I mean, we did so much research in the Cowpen Road area, et cetera, et cetera. And so we're going to drip feed these stuff over the next 12 days because we got 12 days until they throw me in jail for fighting for the Bahamian people, which I will gladly do. But we got so much documentary evidence. It's kind of weird now trying to show it to you because we don't have electricity and I can't work the software the way it is. Now I was going to show you, you know, Wayne Monroe and his petty responses, you know, talking about me and lying about, you know, about the situation with the Crown Land, etc. I have so much to show you, but it's difficult for me to show it to you today. All right. I'm sorry. Certain things I just gotta show you. Certain things I just gotta show you. And so, based on everything you just heard, how do you feel when you see the Minister of National Security, who says that that an officer could just slap someone? When I go to another computer, it goes down. I'm sorry. I'll just read it to you. You all know I always have my stuff, so just bear with me on this one time. When I go live on Tuesday, I'll make it up to you. All right, promise. Wayne Monroe said, I wanted to actually show you all of his Facebook comments. He said the demolitions that were halted were on private land, meaning in the mud, Pigeon P, and there's other places we're showing you. We are not at this moment talking about any demolition of any building on private land. The difference should be obvious and clear. That's what he said on having a back and forth with persons on Facebook. And so that's what the minister, the lying Minister of National Security said. You know, that should concern you when your Minister of National Security is going on social media, one, and going on social media to debate with the general public, and I guess to intimidate them or try to intimidate them or to spread some fake narratives. He also said, let me see if I can turn the camera around on this. Hopefully, y'all, come on. You know, I like to show evidence. All right, let me see if y'all can see that. The shanty towns in Abaco are reported to be on private land, as are the majority of shanty towns in New Providence. The complaint about these shanty towns is the failure to obtain Ministry of Works approvals for the buildings. So he's saying the failure of those shanty towns in Abaco, etc. The only thing they did wrong, he's saying, is that they didn't get Ministry of Works approval. That is utter BS. That shows that something diabolical is going on and that the government is working with these illegal immigrants and covering for them. You saw the covering with each of the ministers that got involved with this, except for Alfred Sayers. You saw the covering. And except Alfred Sayers made a statement that the situation in Abaco is a humanitarian situation, so he was covering for them too. But these ones are blatantly lying. All right? Blatantly lying. Saying, listen, don't even know Haitians do wrong because their stuff on the Shanyas and Abaco, they're on private land. But I showed you proof that they are not on private land. I even showed you documents. I showed you newspaper article. I showed you the persons on the land and the man who say he got the grant and he gave us a document. I have the document. He got not the grant. He applied. He got an acknowledgement letter. He did not get permission to be there. He got an acknowledgement letter and he's on the land. And what he did was he left town and he rented it to Haitians, to some of them. And then they came and swarmed. Once they figured out where they could get a crown land, that's what they look for. If you go on private property, you get in trouble, you might get run. But they go on crown land because they know no one could touch them. And so they started building up. Now, that area that had about 20 homes, that is a monstrosity. Let me see if I can find that for you. That is now a monstrosity. Yes, I got it. That is now this. Is a part of it. All of that. I can't show you the whole screen. And what they're doing is they're building houses to code. They're building houses with solar panels, etc. now. See, while we in Monroe is attacking us and lying, assembly, because they're covering up in the whole Bahamas Seas and they're coming after us. And guess what? Only one person can authorize them to come after us, and that is Brave Davis. Brave Davis himself is doing this. Look at these homes. These are duplexes. Look at that. That's a duplex. All right, that's a your homes now. Look at all this in. Look at this big truck. By looking at that big, boat in the yard. This is our crown land, Bahamas. But the government keeps lying and covering for the wickedness that is going on with this invasion. Why are they doing this to their people? They lied. They lied and said that the injunction had nothing to do with Nassau. I said, that dude, I go, look at this. This is the injunction. We don't talk without proof. I wish this current was on so I could show you all some real stuff. Because we didn't find the crookedness that some of them doing. See here, this is when Fred Smith represented them. And he was suing the government. I'll start this at number 7. I want you to see this. Please. Y'all please share this. Y'all spread the word. The government is being diabolical, defending the illegal immigrants while fighting their own Bahamian people. They're trying to spin some story that they're going to go after us for crimes of trespassing, etc. It says, this is the judgment. This is what the judge say now. The properties on the island of Abaco to which the said injunction extends were occupied predominantly by immigrants allegedly without the requisite and proper status to reside. They were illegal immigrants. They had the proper status to be here. Notwithstanding, the court remains mindful of the human element involved. These individuals have fundamental rights which do not only extend to citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, but are universal. It is important that the Commonwealth of the Bahamas continues to display mutual value and respect for the lives of everyone within our country, regardless of who they are. That is everyone except Bahamians. This right here just said that these people are illegal immigrants, but they got rights. And so you shouldn't mess with them. But at the same time, they are harassing Bahamians, going in the back there, feeling up old ladies, harassing Bahamians. I'm going to show you some more. I want you to see the injunction for yourself because you had ministers lying about what this injunction says. I mean, outright lying. These people are bold beyond belief. I'm going to read you the words from the injunction. This is the court order. This is part 14 of it. This says, Pending, this is the injunction now. See? The injunction. Pending the determination of this action or until further order, the respondents, that's the government, be and are hereby restrained directly or through their agents, appointees, or employees from taking possession of, I mean, you can't take possession of no land, nothing. Demolishing, I mean, you can't break down no building. This wasn't just about breaking down building. It was about taking back possession of land also. Any building on or otherwise interfering. They are not allowed to interfere with the 177 applicants and other residents and occupiers' enjoyment of land in shanty towns in New Providence. Huh? Remember the lie that the Attorney General said? All of this to attack Bahamians and defend the illegal immigrants. This is treason. The Defense Act talks about aiding the enemy. And it says, including by disconnecting any utilities. They can't touch their utilities, their cable, the electricity, anything. That's how serious this injunction is, other than pursuant to the relevant enabling legislation. You see, I come with documents. I don't come with talks. Every time these people have these press conferences and stand in these coat suits, the media just repeat any lie they say. They talking all this nonsense. They keep saying, oh, illegal clearing of this, illegal that. They're leading out their story with that. Oh, this illegal this and illegal that. There's an injunction in place, and this doesn't say it only protects Haitians. This is for anyone. Any of the, it didn't say owners, you know. It says any other residents and occupiers. Occupier means you're there. You're not a criminal because you're occupying land. They say they can't stop you. The government, none of their agents, nothing can stop you from being on that land. Let's go to 17. All right? They can't stop you. But they said if you add any buildings, make sure it's within the law. They did say that. All right? Now, let me go to, where are we? Where are we? 17. I want you to see this. Okay. Here. Is this the right one? No. Hold on one second. Let me pull it up. I'm trying to see exactly where it is for you. Okay. Should be 17. Let me see. Okay, let me just put it up so you can see what they're looking at. Okay. All right, let me just pull up my notes and go to the next one. All right, let me go straight to 28. Because I want you to see this. You know, Wayne Monroe had said that this ain't really talking about Crown land, right? But I want you to see this one in paragraph 28. Right? In paragraph 28. Okay, that's 27. Here we are, 28. In 28, it is said, "It appears that the position of respondents is that due to the declaration of the most honorable Prime Minister, that Abaco and the Keys and the disaster zone applicants cannot petition this honorable court to so restrain the respondents from taking possession, demolishing any building or otherwise interfering with the occupiers' enjoyment of the land, etc." But I want you to see the land that they were talking about. All right, they talk about the land. The sandbanks, the farm, the Pigeon Pea, Crown land, and the vicinity of Treasure Key and the mud. They were talking about what the government's opinion was. But this was talking about all of these areas, including Crown land. I remember the minister said that it was about private land. Crown land is what this was also talking about. It names some of them, like the Mud and Pigeon people, but also other Crown land where these people were in possession. All right? And so, and this is the judgment. All right? The applicant admitted that at no time did the government seek to obtain a variation to the injunction before it embarked on the wholesale clearing of these parts of Abaco, all right, including Crown land. Nor did the government rely on any other authority to do so. It just did it. This is plainly wrong and not in the spirit of the respectful negotiations which had been going on between the parties. So yeah, they was negotiating with the illegal immigrants while they won't even talk to us. All right? From the commencement of this matter, Hurricane Dorian appeared to have provided impetus to eradicate structures without undue concern for the nature of the claim, if any, by the applicants, and with no apparent or real consideration for whether the land, now watch this, whether the land belonged to Bahamians, persons with legal rights to the land, persons with adverse possession, that means squatting, because if persons there was squatting, you can't fool with them, or persons with rights arising under the Constitution. So you have several rights as it relates to being on land. That's what the court was telling them. Ministers, you can't just go break down and you ain't is no consideration for whether persons are actually Bahamians, meaning you have a right to be on Crown land. Persons with legal rights to land, they ain't check for that, and they just go and break it down. Persons in adverse possession, you see with your own eyes, that's squatting. Or persons with rights arising under the Constitution. All right? And what they're saying is they should have, see? From the papers before me, there appears to be a tension between those in Shanty Downs and those who are not in these alleged unregulated communities, because that's another word for Shanty Downs, of people, these people did not appear overnight, and the convention must be reserved. And so they are, what the court is saying is that the government can't just come there and harass y'all. They just can't come there. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how long people been there. People been in the well fields for years, for decades. They can't just come there and threaten you and tell you where you can and cannot go and what you can and cannot do, and they don't know what's going on. All right? There are laws, and we live under the rule of law. But it looks like only the people are following the law. All right? And so this is basically saying that, listen, there's an injunction in place. You can't touch nobody. And the court is saying a variation of the order should have been sought and granted on an urgent basis before the commencement of demolition. In fact, before you go in there, you should have come to the courts. That's what the court is saying here. But instead, the minister is going all over social media. Oh, I lost connection. So minister is going all over social media and arguing with people, spreading half-truths to deceive the Bahamian people as to what's really going on. And it is disgusting, and it cannot be allowed to continue in this country. That man needs to resign immediately. His bully tactics are disgraceful and should not be allowed in any civilized nation. It cannot be allowed. And we're calling on Bahamians to stand up and stand with us. That's what we're calling for. We're only asking you to stand with us against tyranny, against evil. Okay? I want to show you what Wayne, Monroe said in his little chat. If it don't come through, I'd screenshot it so I'll be able to pull it up. But I'm going to show you what he was saying in these little chats. And this is not the actions. Someone said to him, Wayne Monroe, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. As a Bahamian citizen, you should be fighting for organic Bahamians. This country is for organic Bahamians. Stop giving the foreigners our Bahamian passports so they can access our crown land. This land is our land. Because, they have the little scam. They say, oh, that's private land. Because what happens is they're giving the land to these people of Haitian descent, the little children, when they have the children, they come illegally, have children, and they get access to the land. That's the scam. And so the government just repeated, oh, that's Bahamians on the land. But that's not the full truth. And people will tell them in this chat, fight for Bahamians, not against Bahamians. All right? And so Wayne Monroe responded. She said, Wayne Monroe, you in this video, because she showed the video, are you talking about Bahamians? Or are you talking about in this? You must be talking about the legal say, got 14 days. Wayne Monroe, see him there, responded. Most shanty towns are on private land. See, keeping the same narrative. Not crown land, unless they are illegals, which immigration will address, or they are illegally clearing land or otherwise breaching environmental laws with breach of law. Would you like us to enforce? In other words, what they do? He said, unless they are legally clearing land. Well, of course they're legally clearing land. He said, or otherwise breaching environmental laws. What breach of law would you like us to enforce? Well, mother freeze. This was his response to the lady. In other words, the nation ain't do nothing, man. The illegal immigrants, they ain't do nothing because they're on private land. Somehow private land makes it legal in Wayne Monroe's mind all of a sudden. It wouldn't before. And she said, thank you for the fast response. And she started to read him the riot act. All right, I won't read the whole thing. You could screenshot that and go back to it yourself, right? She read him the riot act. That's a long message she gave him. Man, you must be crazy. You must be out of your mind. She said, apparently you're turning a blind eye to what's going on. You're the Minister of National Security. She gave him a real good cut him. And then he responded, we will enforce the law. The immigration law will be enforced. There is no record of a Lincoln Bain estate. Because she said, listen, that area, that could be Lincoln Bain estates. That's what she said. And he said, there's no record of a Lincoln Bain estates, and we will enforce the law against trespass and clearing of public land. See what he's saying? Against trespass and clearing of public land. So then why don't you go and deal with the Haitians who are trespassing, who have been trespassing, who have been taking our land? How can a Bahamian trespass on Bahamian land? That's for our Bahamian benefit. All right, and it says, the laws will be enforced, and if organic or non-organic Bahamians, foreigners, or anyone else is found in breach, they will be held accountable. It is as simple as that. Making excuses for breaking the law is something that has plagued us in all areas of enforcement. All right, and she came back and she gave him a beating again. All right, she gave him another beating and told him to stop being a puppet. She said, what about the illegal coal mining? Because he said they ain't do nothing wrong. But he just been there with the environment and saw them making and saw that coal was being made. So if coal is being made and these people are making the coal, burning fire illegally, making this stuff without a license, all that kind of stuff, but all of a sudden they're turning a blind eye and making an excuse for everything. Oh, what they do wrong? You see the change? But they're gonna attack the Bahamians. So Brave Davis is planning to live. It says, all right, and so she also said, okay, if it's on private land, then why don't you enforce the law against those persons who are illegally allowing them, harboring them on the private land? All right. And she said, "What law?" Okay, look at me back up. Sorry, we got to go through this right now. His response to her is clearing land on a forest Okay. So the internet is weak. If this goes down, we just go down. All right. So he said clearing land in a forest reserve is a breach of the law. Already said it's not a forest reserve. Is a breach of the law. For time immemorial. Removing protected trees is a breach of the law. Of course, the Haitians are doing that. So what have they done? What you want me to do with? And passing on land, you have no title damage. What is this man talking about? I don't know where that happening. That ain't happening. All right. And so, please stop. Plans are in motion. Same area to perhaps for one of your boys. Talking about enforcement is because forward, so she is spanking him. And so he responded, so by someone, Janet, just that they are free to rebuild of deforestation, calling my name. Say, coal is by someone just like Mr. Bain. To do as they to this mouth up and then prominent person registrar in this offices in this group. This man to be prejudicing any case that is going on. He is in here calling me out. I know he said Mr. Bain, but man is in here attacking me. This the minister. said, listen, you're supposed to be the man in Jamaican. Gentlemen, the gentlemen, the gentlemen who were caught and released will likely be charged of the director of the files. If you on others, please provide, and they will also be prosecuted. Clear. Turn the camera on that. I sorry, I got I gotta turn the camera on this. When who were caught, he planning up an Officer Carroll and the ongoing lawsuit thing on it. Saying that they to be of national security access to a with on here prejudice deceitful and lied up clear. They were not clear cutlass in their hand. They were not doing anything. But he is on switching the story. Davis sent him to do that to Bahamian. They went on the beach trying to say because it's private line. He jumped in and they started telling him more. I came and said, listen, what's the government? Oh, this is last. After he started getting realized these were intelligent people that had or the power to take on a law, right? So in other words, he's saying, listen,